Never in the history of competitive StarCraft has there been a rivalry nearly as important and influential as Flash versus Jaedong.
덮치나요 이드라리스.
네. 자 싸워줍니까? 야 그냥 싸워. 네. 서클 앞쪽에 하나밖에 없어.
이영호 선수.
네, 저걸리면 시간 어느 정도 끌 수 있을 것인지.
야 이거 이영호 선수 타이 좋은데요.
네, 아성까지 하나밖에 없는데 안을 만들어주는.
이거
네.
이 상태 아까 말씀드린 우려했던 이영호 선수 입장에서 우려됐던 거의 쐐기를 만든 거거든요.
뒷발로 왔어요. 뒷발로 왔어요.
아니 다크쇼 더 이상 못 치게끔 지금
네.
잡아줘야죠 뒷발로.
하지만 뒷발로가.
There's even a strong case to be made that it's the greatest rivalry in the history of competitive gaming. Before the days of Worlds, TI, and the Overwatch League, there was South Korean StarCraft Brood War. And at a time when fans were worried about Brood War declining, Flash and Jaedong's legendary bouts helped the game from fading into obscurity. They ushered in a new golden age for StarCraft, but more importantly, paved the way for the birth of eSports as we know it. The thing that continues to make Flash and Jaedong's rivalry so special is that it came at a time when nobody was expecting it. By 2007, South Korea's StarCraft-obsessed netizens had been devouring Brood War since its launch in 1998, and the game hadn't seen a patch since 2001. People were starting to fear that the game had been figured out, that there was nothing left to theorycraft, that the game's glory days were coming to an end. In the years before Flash and Jaedong, StarCraft's competitive circuit had been dominated by 4 players, who came to be known as the bonjour. Originally, bonjour was a Buddhist term, a self-elevating first-person pronoun, kind of like calling yourself master. In StarCraft, however, it became a historical term used to describe those who were agreed upon to be the true masters of the game. Boxer, Nada, I Love Uv, and Savior. And the first player to push Brood War past Savior was Bisu, an up-and-comer who managed to sweep him in one of the most revolutionary series of all time.
말이 안 나오네요 김태균. 마재윤도 이 히드라 움직임 보셨어요?
Bisu overthrew the king of StarCraft, but to everyone's surprise, he didn't become the next bonjour. Enter Jaedong, whose astronomical rise near the end of 2007 turned him into a legend. Still considered the greatest Zerg player of all time, Jaedong quickly became renowned for his sheer, unadulterated aggression, epitomized by the Ihan timing maneuver with which he humbled Stork in an OSL final.
이한 타이밍! 이한 타이밍밖에 없어요!
지금은 지금도 많잖아.
말씀드린 두 게이트 전의 타이밍이거든요 이게!
네, 아무리 그 파괴 대명사
스커지가 필요해. 그렇죠.
이게 말씀드린 그 타이밍을 찾아내다뇨 이재동 선수!
This new era of Brood War was characterized by a never-before-seen volatility. No longer was there one recurring champion. Instead, there were several contenders fighting for the throne. The age of the bonjour had come to an end, and the age of Tek Bang Li Sang, a term combining the names and nicknames of Bisu, Stork, Jaedong, and soon enough, a rookie named Flash, had begun. Flash's entrance onto the scene was quiet. His first claim to fame was an ingenious cheese he used to knock Bisu out of the round of 8 in an OSL.
지금은 저 프로브가 가서 정찰을 빨리 이뤄야 됩니다. 그래 이것도
포즈라도 지어야죠 지금.
어딘지를
여기는
포즈 늦었어.
너무 늦었어요.
김태균 지금 노질러 시도 노질러.
줄었습니다. 배터리 소용
망했어요. 근데 드래곤이 잘 살리면 됩니다.
그렇죠. 대신 다수의 SCB 넣고
자 추가적인 게 왔어.
거의 경기 배터리로.
The Terran rookie remained relatively unexceptional until he managed to secure draws against Jaedong at both MSL and OSL, StarCraft's most prestigious tournaments. The community began to suspect that Flash may be Jaedong's kryptonite. Flash went on to confront Jaedong in a series of tense, history-making face-offs that ushered in the most cutthroat era StarCraft has ever seen. The first was a best-of-5 series at 2008 GOM-TV MSL Season 4. Flash only managed to win one game, but it was enough to prove that he was ready to go toe-to-toe with the best player in the world. The second was a best-of-3 face-off in the quarterfinals of OSL, where, against every odd, Flash toppled a heavily favored Jaedong 2-1. The 15-year-old Flash went on to win the event, becoming the youngest champion in Star League history. But his victory over Jaedong is what sent shockwaves through the community. He'd proven that the Tyrant, Jaedong's newly acquired nickname, could fall. It would be nearly 2 years before Flash and Jaedong would meet in a Major League Grand Finals, 2010's Nate MSL. But Game 3 of that final soured the experience. Not because it was uneventful, but because they didn't actually finish it.
3PO2 shut down the garbage smashes on the detention level because they were squeezing into tighter and tighter situations. And yeah, the video that we're watching has just gone blank. So what the heck is going on? Something crazy is going on.
It looks like a Kespa referee has come out, finally getting to do something useful apart from just standing by the players and making sure.
On YouTube, Basie put an annotation in. I report the results of Game 3 involved in this incident. Oh crap, I missed it. In consideration of the resource situation and expansions, therefore, we decided and found in favor under summary trial of Kespa StarCraft Code Section 13 that Jaedong appeared to be in the lead. What?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No!
Oh my god. If this wasn't crazy enough, so am I reading you right, Moletrap? They're giving the game to Jaedong?
Someone's game crashed, I think, or something like that happened, and the game was lost, and they reviewed the situation and decided that Jaedong was in the lead and awarded him the game.
Flash went on to lose Game 4 and ultimately the tournament. The match everyone had been waiting for was ruined, and it was all because of a space heater and some faulty wiring. If these players never faced off again in another major finals, the fans would have felt cheated. But they did face off, and the best was yet to come. In 2010, Flash and Jaedong made history by meeting in the finals of 3 consecutive MSLs, Nate, Hana, Day 2, and Big File, and the year's last OSL. Aside from Nate, Flash won them all. Flash went on to not only solidify himself as the winner of his rivalry with Jaedong, but the 5th, final, and greatest bonjour of all time. He boasted a 70% win rate in every matchup, and the longest time spent as the #1 player on Kespa's ranking. Flash has earned several nicknames over the years. Little Monster, the Living Weapon, some, Jaedong in particular, even referred to him as God.
He's an opponent that I respect the most.
가시죠, 갓.
오!
He says Flash is a god.
The
mutual respect is touching. The respect is real.
The thing is, it's likely that Flash wouldn't have become the game's indisputable best unless Jaedong pushed him to get there. Likewise, Jaedong would have been the indisputable best player if Flash hadn't shown up and taken his crown. At the end of the Kespa era, when all was said and done, their final map score was 25-24 in Flash's favor. Both Flash and Jaedong went on to play StarCraft 2, but never really saw the success they had in Brood War. Flash stayed on with KT Rolster, becoming something of a father figure to the South Korean StarCraft scene and the country's most revered competitor. Jaedong joined Evil Geniuses in 2012 and was quickly welcomed into the West as one of esports' greatest living legends. To this day, it's difficult to overstate the adoration that fans around the world have for Jaedong and his anime-esque plight against Flash. They retired in 2015 and 2016 respectively, but with the release of StarCraft Remastered, their rivalry has been reignited. Still, they'll always be remembered for the days they spent as legends in late-era Brood War. In Flash's case, for being a god, and in Jaedong's case, for being the only man who could make that god bleed. For bringing StarCraft to a truly international audience.
I love you, America! Jaedong!
And for laying the groundwork for an entirely new generation of competitive gaming.
This was like the prehistory of esports is StarCraft 1. Like there were team houses for these guys. Yeah. It's like all of that, all the efforts of all Brood War players ever
all down.
Came to a pyramid, and at the top are Flash and Jaedong.
For turning themselves and each other into esports' first titans, warring gods whose epic exploits will be forever inscribed in the annals of history.
Thanks for watching. If you want more great content just like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button.